Welcome back to the Backstop Built channel, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this interview I have today with a client of mine. This is Sam Balone, and I am very excited, as I am always excited to share the guys that have worked with me. But for this kid specifically and where he's from and the things he was able to overcome, this is a very, very motivating and inspiring story today that we are going to be telling for my guy Sam. But I want to let him introduce himself before we get right into it. Make sure you stick around to the end so you can hear everything that this kid has gone through and all the things that he was able to do to get better with me, and also how you are able to take that same opportunity. So, Sam, let's hear it from you, man.
Yeah, my name's Sam Balone. I'm from Illinois, and I'd say I went from playing right field to being looked at by the coaches and catching.
So, what's your age and grade again? You just finished
I just
freshman year,
finished my
correct?
freshman year.
Okay. So you're 15. Yeah. So let's start with where you are from. I think that's going to give people more context. Let's talk about like the small town and things like that.
Yeah, so I'm from the southern part of Illinois, a little bit more rural, not much around. So it just helped a lot having digital, because there's not many around here who I can get with in person, good ones, and that's where you came in with digital and helped out a lot.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, for sure. And that's exactly why, this is so effective. The program works for everyone where they're from, even you being from a really small town, living on a farm, it's really cool stuff. But let's dive right into where you were before we started working together.
Yeah, so before we started working, I was in right field. Before that, I was in sit bench, and they said you need a right fielder. So I just started out playing right, not getting to catch very much at practice even. And then I slowly started going. Coach just threw me in at one of the practices and liked what he saw. He started throwing me in more and more at practices, and then I finally got some playing time in games towards the end of the season.
Yeah, dude. That is kind of how the whole journey went for sure. How did you think of yourself as a catcher before you and I started working together? Like where was your confidence? Where was kind of your self-belief and things like that?
Yeah, so I would say I didn't have very much confidence, like at all. I just sat back there and just thought to myself, just catch the ball. No blocking at all. I just hit the ground. I basically just got up and ran after it.
Yeah, and for the people watching this, like kind of dive in just real quick to how your catching journey started because dude, you're an outfielder, you know what I mean? So how did that conversation come of like I think I should be a catcher?
Yeah, so I was playing 9U. I was out in right field, and one of my coaches thought I had a really good arm. So he wanted me to try back at catching, and ever since then, I just fell in love with it. I just needed that extra step of that coach to help me go on even more.
Yeah, and specifically before you got working with me, like where would you say your blocking, throwing, and receiving were?
So I would say my receiving was kind of mid. I had some pretty good framing, but it wasn't the best. My blocking was not there like at all. I think I blocked like 5 balls within one season. All the other just flew past me. And I say my throwing, it was decent every now and then. Like I got the ball down there, or it just wasn't in a good spot, or I just didn't get down there all the way. I was just slow too.
And then I think, that's right around when you kind of admitted when you and I got on that first call of like the things you needed to work on. And I was glad you were real with yourself because you were like, hey, things can definitely be better 100%. So let's talk about now the adjustments you and I made right away in all those categories once you got in the program.
Yeah, so I'd say we started out pretty easy, just working on the fundamentals with the blocking, and then I got the blocking down, and I started blocking in practices, and then we started with the receiving and framework and the throwing, and it just slowly built up to where I am now, of the coaches looking at me and catching in games.
Yeah, our plan of attack was definitely to break things down for sure, like in each category and really isolate those and work on them, especially like the blocking right away. And
Yeah.
to see your progress and your form change was huge because that's what needed to happen, man. I know you said you'd never had a catching coach before, so yeah, we definitely had to break things down and put in that work, and that's what ended up going on. So now, what were the results after us going through that plan? Were for you in all those categories, and also for you confidence and mentally as a catcher?
Yeah, so I'd say my confidence skyrocketed. I started blocking, throwing, receiving at practices, stealing strikes at practices when we'd have like a coach behind calling balls and strikes. And my fundamentals skyrocketed. I went from not even able to block a ball really to blocking like every single ball and perfect throwdowns almost. And then my receiving just was perfect. just straight up and down.
Heck yeah, man. That just, dude, it makes me so happy to hear that because of where you were before, and I know where your confidence was before. And honestly, as a being an honest coach, I know where your mechanics were before, and I said we did have some work to put in if you want those results, and that's what we did, man. And you got them. So, dude, I think that's really cool stuff to see out of you, and I hope you're able to really enjoy that going forward.
Yeah.
Now I kind of want to go into, as we talked about how we work together, but like in the program itself. I just want to start with this. What was your experience like in the program that you could tell anyone who's watching this? Like, what is it like inside the program?
Yes, I would say we do group calls like once, twice a week, and then different topics like confidence, like the stretches and preparing the throw and after throwing. And then on top of that, there's messaging you, sending videos, getting feedback. It's just a whole buttload that just all of it together just helps make a good catcher.
Yeah, I mean the starting with the first pillar like that daily custom plan, which is on that app that gets sent to you, like the fitness app. So like you know exactly what you need to be doing, then the evaluation, then the community, then just the access to me. And there are a lot of different components to it for anyone watching this who might be like, wow, that's a lot. But even, you know, I would say even Sam, like you can attest to this, you were able to take advantage of them all, right?
Yeah, I was. And then videos and missed you sent, took screenshots, talked about what you guys did, and I was able to just go back, fill myself in, and got
Yeah.
everything that everyone else got.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's meant to be convenient and to work around your guys' schedule. I know it was hard for guys this past spring because everyone was in season. So even if we couldn't do like a group call, what I would do is take that same message I was gonna have and just pre-record it for dudes. So yeah, man, it's awesome to be able to work around with stuff like that and the adjustability compared to, you know, honestly, guys just being stuck to an in-person coach for an hour and having to just rush it. So yeah, that's exactly what it's like. And I wanted to ask you this: who is this program for? Who do you think would get the best results? What type of player?
The best type of catcher would be ones who are ready to commit, to put in the work, and who really want to be like that top catcher, prepare, ready, and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Hardworking, attentive, things like that. Now, what type of player would it not be for on the other end?
I would say the player wouldn't be for is just one who's just going to shrug it off and just say, I'm going to do it every now and then. You got to do it constantly, keep the reps in and everything. And if you're struggling with something, it's just right there. Just text you and you easily just tell us what you got to fix. I say for those watching, if you just got to put in the work and the confidence and reps, the reps are the most important. And just put in the work and it'll work.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think it's really not for a player who thinks they have it all figured out already and who isn't willing to be open-minded and commit. So that's where I think, like, if you think you have it all figured out, then it's not going to be for you. So now my next question would be, would you recommend this to someone else? Maybe another catcher who's striving in your same situation that you know, and you're like, I have a guy, something like that.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest it to a fellow catcher or else because it helps with so many different aspects of catching. Even if you're not sure, I would say just do it because it helps with just all the different types and parts of catching to make you that catcher that you want to be.
100%, dude. Yeah, I appreciate that. Let's kind of go into, you know, one of the biggest things I get, and that's why I do a lot of these interviews because a lot of players are like, I don't know about a remote or online or virtual digital program, and they just don't really understand the attentiveness, and that's a big reason why we're doing this interview to show them like, hey, I was able to get great results. And I understand if you're watching this and you're skeptical. Every interview I've ever done, usually every kid says, like, I was skeptical before I got into it. And I understand that because it is something new. But when the results are so undeniable, now you have to make a decision for yourself. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So I want to ask you this question of what beliefs did you have about online training before working with me?
Yeah, so I would say online training, I just didn't think it was gonna work at all. And then I started talking to you about it, and you talked about you had all this like send videos, constant reps every night, off days to fill in for reps that you might have missed through the game nights or just didn't get to. And I did start out skeptical. I just thought this guy's got to be a scam. It's not gonna work. And then I decided to do it, and it's crazy how good it is.
Yeah, and honestly, those are very valid like concerns. I totally understand where you're like, how does this work? But once I show guys what the program looks like and the attentiveness, I think everyone's kind of like, wow, yeah, that's it's for sure legit. So I hope you were one of those. I mean, you ended up doing the hard part. There's two hard parts to the program. The first one is just saying yes, I'm down to commit, and then the second one is just showing up each day. Honestly, the only hard part is the first one because getting over that mental hump is what buys you that VIP pass to get better pretty much. So 100%. And one thing I wanted to ask you was, have you ever worked with a catching coach before me in person or remotely?
Yeah, so no, I haven't really got to because I'm a little bit more in a rural area. It's not a whole ton of good catching coaches, not ones that really know what they're talking about. And I think that's where you kind of stepped in. You knew what you were talking about, you knew how to handle everything, and it's just, it works.
Would you say there's just no good catching coach in your area? That's why you could never do it?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. And that's why it's so cool that we're able to work together and you're able to make the progress you did and get the high quality coaching you deserve, even from living in a very rural, small town area. And that's why this stuff's so powerful, man. 100%. So that's awesome for anyone watching this. Even though you haven't necessarily done the in-person coaching before, but just seeing from like your other options, scrolling on Instagram, trying to figure it out on your own, or doing group work at practice, or investing in a 1 hour a week per coach. When you compare all those in-person options to remote training, what do you have to say comparing in-person to remote?
So I would say remote, I feel like is so much better because in person, you have to work around their schedule, around your schedule. You got to work with if they have other kids they're working with. Whereas here with your digital, you just got us reps. And then if we need something, we just text you and you just got us the answer or fixed it. We had reps every day instead of being like in person every now and then, like once a week or once every 2 weeks. This was like every day you got reps, multiple things to work on. And it just that constant like reps and work, it just builds up over and over, and then it's good.
Now, what would you have to say to somebody on the fence right now? Someone watching this who's still like, I don't know about all this. What kind of comes to your mind to let them know?
Yeah, so I'd say if you're on the fence, I just say if you really need it, if you really gonna put in the work, go for it because it's going to help if you put in that work, if you commit. So if you just commit, things are going to change. You're going to be so much better at catching. Along with that catching part, there's the confidence and the mental. Also, you help build while doing just the fundamentals too.
So would you urge them to try and commit or at least get on that first call with me to see, what I
I
do?
very much would because even that first call, you even said, "Hey, let's get on a call. If you don't like it or what, so it's okay, and then you don't have to do it." But 9 times out of 10, I feel like you're definitely gonna like it. You're definitely gonna want to do it. Just give it a shot.
How would you say this program has changed your career?
Yeah, I'd say it changed my career a lot. I went from first I was going to just sit on the bench, and then I started talking to you, and I got a little bit with that mental, and I got told this spot right, so I went and I filled in for that, and then coach started putting me in a little bit more at practice, liked what he saw, and I started getting playing time in games, and now we just lost our senior catcher for varsity, and my coach is looking for new catchers, so and I hope that's where my plan to pop up.
Yeah, dude. And that's so awesome. And for those watching, one thing that was cool that Sam, when he was making good progress, he texted me and was like, hey, I'm probably playing right field this year still, but I'm going to continue to train on my catching. He's like, I'm hoping to get playing time next year as a catcher. And I remember messaging him, I was like, no, we're trying to get playing time this year as a catcher. And you did play right field most of the time, but there was a few opportunities where your coach saw you in practice because you actually put in that work and had the skills to back it up. Where then you were telling me, hey, my coach actually thinks I look great catching bullpens. Now I'm going to get a few games back there. And that's how it starts, dude. That's how you start to now go from never catching to like now we're bridging that gap of getting time back there because you put in the work. And for anyone watching this, that's what you have to do because you're going to get an opportunity just like Sam did, and you have to take advantage and be ready for it. And if you don't, then you have to look in the mirror and realize that's your own fault. So, dude, that was awesome, Sam.
Yeah, so there's multiple times be doing like live VP, and we'd have different pitchers catch the us two catchers, and we'd go back and forth. We'd had hitters and outfielders and stuff. And there was a couple of times just the fundamentals that I just did. Our coach would point stuff out that I did to our main catcher and told him that he needs to start doing that too. And so it just started building up and up, and the coach started seeing more and more things that just helped so much. And then he started liked what he's seeing pointed out to the main catcher, and then I started getting playing time.
Yep, exactly, dude. And the big part is you were ready for that. So, man, that just makes me so happy. And I want you to be honest, like in your own words, do you feel like the program helped you prepare for that, and that was what was able to allow you to seize that opportunity?
Yeah, it definitely was. The program helped so much. Like before this, I just kind of sat there with my glove and just tried to pick it or whatever, not even block it. And then that's where the program came in, working on everything, and it helped a ton.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So you went from your freshman year, not even being an official catcher on the team, to now you are going into your sophomore year right before summer starts the sophomore year with like a real shot for competing for that varsity spot, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that is the power of doing things right each day. That is the power of you committing to something and you in your mind knowing you're that good and having that confidence, dude. And that excites me so much for your future, bro. I think that is like the transformation is crazy. I know maybe for you it's hard to see, but as a coach, it feels like just a few months ago you were like, hey, didn't catch again in right field. I'm hitting good, whatever. And then now all of a sudden it's like, hey, my coach put me behind the dish. And then you're like, I caught really well. And it's like, yep, it's all we needed. I just want to congratulate you, man. That is awesome. Like you,
Yeah, thanks, man.
yeah, that's why you committed to it, right? That's what you were wanting, no?
Yeah, it is. I just wanted that chance, and through the work and that effort and everything, I got that chance that I wanted.
Inspiring, dude. Inspiring. Well, honestly, those are all the questions I have for you. I just wanted to open it up one last time for anything else you want to say. It could be about the program, about your experience, about our relationship you and I were able to make, coach and player. It could be anything about your faith too as a Christian athlete. So just wanted to open the floor for any last thoughts.
Yeah, so I would say even just working through just through remote video and everything, we've definitely developed a relationship to where I can just talk about you with anything. And then I'd say if you're on the edge still, just go for it. I mean, this program helps you mentally, faithfully too. There's multiple times you just have a say prayers. I definitely got God a little bit more into baseball through this program too. Like now, I just say a prayer before every game and stuff too. Before I didn't do that, and it helped with my mental. You've given me multiple tips on how to fix my mental with games and hitting and everything. Helped me with stuff that wasn't even just catching. You helped with hitting, fielding. You just helped with multiple things. And I'd say if you're just on the edge, just do it. It helps a ton.
I appreciate that, man. Oh, dude, that's just so cool to me. That is so cool as a coach who's a faith-based coach to even like I don't even want to take any credit for that impact genuinely because you were the one doing it. God put you into my life just as much as I was put into yours. And I feel like every kid teaches me something. But the fact that you're saying like now you're seeking the Lord on game day, and hopefully outside of that, and dude, to just continue to grow in that, that is awesome because that's what's going to set you free as a player is Jesus Christ, man, and your relationship with him and how you can enjoy the blessings he's put on your life to be healthy, to play this game and just enjoy it. You know, this game we take so serious and it's a game where it's a round ball and a round bat and we're trying to make something happen and you're going to fail. So dude, that hypes me up. I'm really excited for you going forward because not only do you have the skills that a catcher has, but more importantly, you have that relationship with Christ that is that firm foundation that is going to last more than anything. So that's awesome to hear, Sam. That is all I have. Wow, this interview was absolutely amazing, dude. I knew it would be a huge comeback story for my guy Sam, and his story is still being written, just like many of your guys's who's watching this. But one thing Sam can say is he took action. And once he took action, he dedicated himself. Very, very simple, but it's not always easy. And I understand that. And that's a big reason why we do these interviews to show you the proof, the living proof right here of someone who saw me on Instagram, reached out to me, got on a call with me and his parents, and I just showed him what I do. And he said yes. And then it was 6 months together working. And now he has those results that back that up. So I'm extremely proud of this kid. Sam, thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Now, for anyone watching this, if you want to know your next steps of what you can do to join the program or even just learn about it, what I do is I get on a Zoom call with you and your parent, or if you're a parent watching this, you and your son who's a player. And what we do is I just go over exactly what this looks like, show you how remote training works, show you how the Backstop Built program works and things like that. that all on the call. And then I am going to determine if I can help you and how I can help you, and then go over all the details of how to join. So those calls are magic. I'm going to put a link in the description below so you can see the video that explains the program, and then also you can book a call for whenever it works for you so we can meet, just like I did with Sam and his parents. It is that simple. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video, please, if you got any value from it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like this video, and go through the other testimonies. You might find another kid that resonates with you and his story. But that is all I have for today. I really appreciate you again, Sam. The relationship we built was awesome. That's all, man. Thank you.
Thank you.